Grand Rising. Grand Rising. I just get out of the shower and uh, telling you, there is nothing better. This shirt I got, it's like a secondhand flannel, like real flannel shirt that I got like at a thrift shop, $5. And I just get out of the shower. I had it's clean, and I just took it out of the dryer and I put it on, and it felt like a hug. Clean, soft flannel. Anyway, what an unexpected grace, and what I mean by that is the things that the gifts that I've received that I wasn't expecting, or I didn't even know existed, kind of thing. Um, Coming, since my experience, but over the course of my life, and what I'm referring to specifically right at the moment is unplugging to start with. Um, 1999, 2000, 2001. Um, I separated and divorced from my first wife, and I left home. And due to means and resources, the places that I had available to me were not, as far as moving to someplace else, it was very limited. I stayed in a hotel, motel for a few nights, but that was going to be, it's this. I need to find something long term, but the only thing I could afford long term was something that was extraordinarily cheap, basic, and specifically, they didn't have cable television, so I was in essence forced to unplug. Um, and I did have. I don't know if any of us remember these. It was a very small television with a VCR in it built in. Yeah, I think the screen was, maybe 12 inches big. I had that. I had that for like entertainment purposes. Um, but and that was it, man. I didn't have anything else. I mean, is so I had to, and I'm coming from a place, leaving my former wife, getting divorced. I mean, we had 700 channels on cable, and there was still nothing on. But I didn't realize the level of my preoccupation, addiction to television. Um, and it didn't take very long, and I'm going to say probably within the first 2 years of living without television, um, where I really genuinely started to notice a change in my attitude. Like I was calming down, I guess. Um, I didn't feel quite as anxious. Programming, shall we say, programming my own television. I knew what I was going to watch, and it was going to be a movie or a documentary. And fortunately, that particular place that I lived, I was literally next door to a library, so I could always go over there and um, pick out something to watch or something to read. I've never been a huge reader. Can I read? Yes. But like for example, when I was a kid, teenager, whatever, and you would get a report card or your grades, and they would make comments, reading and comprehension. Yes, Scott is a very good reader, but we're not so sure if he's understanding what he reads. And I would tend to agree with that. I don't particularly learn from reading something. I learn from experience or from other people's stories, sharing their wisdom, sharing their experience in practical matters. Watching somebody do something, and then, oh, all right, now I can do it. I saw what they did. But going back to that, you know, unplugging, um, and over the course of time, recognizing the fact that people who were around me in my environment, like who were watching mainstream television, mainstream radio, whatever, it was the same conversations between them, you know, um, and a lot of it had to do with world events and war and rumors of war and politics and money and and all of this stuff. And I started to recognize through observing them, I started to recognize my own the level of my own fears surrounding what they're propagating in the mainstream. And and I'm a firm believer that someone who is in a fearful or defensive position, and they're in a fight or flight position, they're much easier to control. Um, all you got to do is, somebody who's afraid, hey, I got a solution over here, and you can manipulate people very easily when they're in that state of fear, which is unfortunate. But as I progressed on, definitely recognizing the value of not subjecting myself to that narrative, that programming, um, and actually realizing, understanding, and accepting that the world is not the scary place that it's projected to be. That the world is quite lovely in general. The world itself, the planet itself. It's like the people who fuck it up. uh, but coming to more recent days, in particular since 2018, because it was just such a pivotal moment in my life. I refer to 2018, November specifically, as a as the time of my experience, when I had my experience. And it's difficult to describe unless you yourself have had that experience. I've had other experiences in my life that were deeply meaningful, uh, profoundly spiritual, those aha moments, but they all seem to pale in comparison to this experience that I'm referring to in 2018. And the best way I can describe it, and even the description as I'm trying to formulate the words to express it, it's just they pale, but I'll do my best. Um, just a perfect, warm, white, bright light passed through my body. Um, and it was warm and loving and compassionate and anything and everything that you would equate with love. All of those sensations perfectly combined, just like passing through my body from the top of my head. And that was a very specific sensation, passing through the top of my head, flowing through my body, and radiating out through my feet into the floor, into the ground. It was sublime. Um, and even that word sublime doesn't do it justice. But the emotional feeling, the uh, all of those loving feelings that were projected into me, that I felt projected into me, were things that existed. We cannot recognize something that we do not ourselves possess. So I recognized all these things as loving characteristics. But the one of the bigger differences, not a difference, but there was an absolute recognition in that experience of the oneness of humanity, and not just humanity, but um, the animals, the plants, the earth. It was. I think I'm getting goosebumps, like recalling it, euphoric recall. Like yeah, there we go again. Boom, boom, double whammy, goosebumps. Um, the oneness of everything. Um, whether it's the tree out in my yard or the grass on my lawn or the um, you know anything and everything that we would consider alive, including the earth. Animals, plants, insects, trees, other people. Yeah, wow. Oh my God, we're all one. We're all part of that same energy, that same life force, that same source. We're all part of that same thing. Um, Brother, sister, mother, father, sister, whatever, brother. We're all the same. And but the thing that really captured my attention over the last couple of days was something, an unexpected grace. And if we think of the word grace, um, in a very basic, in a very basic definition, is an unmerited gift. There is absolutely nothing I could have done, said, performed to warrant such a gift. It's divine. I perceive it as, when I think of a unmerited gift, I think of it brings feelings of divinity to it. That it's something that I could never have achieved solely on my own, or with others. It's something from the universe, a grace, an unmerited gift. Um, the last several months have been very challenging. And where does the gift fall into this? Those challenging moments were the gift. It's difficult to see, what is it, the silver lining, or you know when you're going through it, when you're caught up in the whirlwind of challenges and chaos, or things that seem to have our full attention, that are mind numbing. It's difficult to see the lesson as you're learning it. Um, but the last several months, since about last December, I've had this deeply self reflective period of time where, like, every day, it's incessant and unending, nonstop. Um, Viewing my life as what one might call, in a near death experience, a life review. Some of us might have an idea of the Akashic records, where everything that we've ever done, said, thought, whatever, has been somehow recorded, and you view your life, um, you witness it. And that was something else too, is having this experience, viewing my life from a point of objectivity, not with judgment, um, not with judgment about the things that, yeah, that wasn't so hot and that was great and whatever, but viewing it from a point of where there is no judgment. There is no judgment other than the judgment I put on myself. And that goes back to fear, doubt, and insecurity, and all this programming, that there's a fear of death, there's a fear of judgment, there's a fear of eternal damnation. What is worse, that eternal damnation that we subject ourselves to while we're living, guilt and shame. And yeah, I mean, yeah, we've done some, well, I'm not going to speak for anybody else here, but I've done some things that I am genuinely not proud of. But over the course of my life, I've had the good fortune to rectify the majority of those situations and um, to see them, especially over the last several months, to see them clearly, objectively, and truthfully, not my truth, what actually happened and how did it play out and why did I do and behave a certain way or act out in a certain way or why did, because there is our perception. Um, there might be someone else's perception, and then there's the truth. The truth lies somewhere in between. A similar example would be you can have two people read the same exact book or see the same exact movie, and they both come away with a different, while the story is still the same, they come away with very different perspectives of the movie. Um, so, with that being said, over the last several months, having the good fortune of being able to review my life in such a way where I'm not viewing it from a point of judgment. Um, and that's been refreshing. The thing that really has gotten to me, that moment of clarity that I kind of pushed the button for, is over the course of my life, I mean, I can recall, I was in a constant state of anxiety. Um, and for numerous reasons, that guilt, shame, and remorse. And those cringeworthy moments over the course of my life. And then you've got work, the stress of work, and am I going to have enough um, abundance and resources to support myself or support my family or to support my friends, whatever, and running around like it. And that kind of goes to like the unplugging thing, being able to view it like, oh my God, I was a slave. I was caught up in the rat race. I was caught up in the world as it seems to be. And the level of anxiety and fear that we experience um, following the program. There was another profound experience that I had, and it was a moment of clarity where I viewed my life, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, Native, indigenous, whatever. We're all, we've all been programmed into like a slavery mindset. And it was a huge wake up call. Like, what am I working so hard for? This imaginary carrot that they dangle, and it's dangled pretty heavily, whether it be retirement or absolute wealth, like we see celebrities and the wealthiest 1%, and you too can achieve this, and it's like, no, you can't. No, you can't. And if you're able to achieve it, I can't speak for anybody else, but um, having that kind of abundance, I have found it very challenging to acquire abundance and resource without compromising my morals and ethics. You can earn and gain and have and possess, but what are you willing to do for it? You sell yourself out. You sell out your own integrity. I have done that. Where I sold out my own integrity when I was in my early years, teens and early 20s. I was, you know, um, selling illicit substances, um, and it was very from a worldly standpoint, it was very lucrative, but it was wrong. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. But what I've noticed over this past several months, and I'm going to try to define it as best as possible, going to that anxiety and fear and chasing the carrot and listening to the narrative, and that genuinely, I don't feel like a fair amount of people are aware of the level of stress they're under and anxiety and fear, because I'm now, as a residual effect of my experience in 2019, 2018, that I remember anxiety attacks and stress was a commonplace thing in my life. Um, whether projected upon me or self-induced, I did something to create that stress, or somebody else projected it toward me and caused stress or anxiety or fear. But having a genuine grasp of, over these past 3 years, a rapidly diminishing amount of fear and anxiety, to the point of now where nothing seems to bother me. I'm not saying I'm not concerned about certain things. Um, I'm not saying certain things don't catch or capture my attention, um, but they don't create, for some reason, there is like no anxiety, there is no fear. And it's not been an easy it's not been an easy trek these past 3 years. There's been some delightful moments, and I've met some wonderful people, and I have some amazing, amazing friends. Um, but coming to that, like, the last several nights, I've mentioned before, that moment at night when you're laying down in bed and you're kind of contemplating your day as you drift off to sleep, and I may have a challenging day physically. My arthritis may kick up, and I have some pain, and it can be quite distracting at times. I may have an encounter that's challenging with another person, but it doesn't. It's seemingly that fear, anxiety, aggression, defensiveness. It's almost as if I'm observing my own life from a third party, and I'm observing the world as a witness, as a third party, and it's really something that, from a very young age, man, like right out of the womb, man, I was scared shitless, um, for irrational reasons, for rational reasons, for imaginary things, for real things. I was scared right out of the gate, man. Feared out insecurity. Damn. And to come to this point in my life where, again, these last 6 months or 5 months, whatever, have been intensely brutal. Like, oh my God, seeing my life and all the choices that I've made. Again, some of it very, very good. But the ones that really got my attention were like, yeah, you fucked up, dude. But without judgment. What would I do? What would I do to, what's the word? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. What would I have done differently? Did you learn the lesson, Scott? Um, I've done some really stupid shit, and based out of fear. Like, if I hadn't been, if that fear, doubt, and insecurity wasn't there, would I have made that choice? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think the biggest one is, like, I mean, for most of us, fear of death, and and I can say honestly, I'm not afraid of death. I prefer not to have a long, prolonged, drawn out, painful, agonizing death. But or to die in such a way, or to die, the the pain part of it doesn't, agree with me. But what happens afterward, judgment, heaven and hell, infinity, all of the above. I'm not afraid of that at all. And I've had the good fortune to work in end of life hospice, and I'm telling you guys, if you have the inclination, it is it's a one you know it's a wonderful, beautiful experience to see someone through their transition, to give comfort to somebody who's passing, who's transitioning. Um, I don't know, weird shit. It's funny too because I was just talking about I don't want to die a bad death. Whatever. I'm mental, but for some reason this idea popped into my head, like, well, what would be a good way to die? I see these idiots, idiots, whatever. I'm being judgmental. I'm still human. Um, this guy, oh God, what was he doing? Jumping out of a plane, man. Somebody like within my Facebook community. I'm not on Facebook anymore. I got hacked bad. So I haven't even gone back onto Facebook. I'm out. Um, but the guy, he jumped out of an airplane. The parachute opened, but when he fucked up when he landed. He hit something and broke his neck and died. And everybody was commenting, well, he died doing what he loved. You know, well, I'm sure he didn't plan on dying that day. I, I don't know, man, but whatever. It just didn't make sense to me. He died doing what he loved. So in that respect, if I could choose to do something, if all right, Scott, you have a choice of how you're going to die. All right, and this was the idea that I had. I think it would be great if I could die helping somebody change their flat tire on the side of the highway. I get their tire changed. They are off on their way. And as I'm walking back to my car, I get hit and killed immediately. Boom! And I'm gone. Instant death. Mental. I have a lot of time on my own to think about weird shit. But if I had to choose a way, yeah, doing, die doing something useful. Helping someone else, I don't know. But that definitely it has been very pronounced, and when I think of like anxiety attacks, the rapid heartbeat, maybe um, the heavier breathing and sweats, and the tensity and shaking in your body, like fuck, man, and it was brutal. And a lot of times, having had straight up anxiety attacks over the course of my life from time to time, many people. I worked in the emergency room. People would come in, and it presents much the same, an anxiety attack. I used to do triage, and I'd be the first person that they'd come into the emergency. What's up? What's the chief complaint? And I think I'm having a heart attack. And that's what it fucking feels like. Having had anxiety attacks myself, that's what it feels like. You're like, oh shit, something's wrong. You know, when in fact, when in fact, the majority of my anxiety attacks, they were, there was nothing tangible I could put my finger on, like what caused that anxiety attack specifically. But in retrospect, look at the fucking world we live in. The way that it's being programmed. Fear, doubt, insecurity. Watch the news. Watch the news. It's never good news. It's never good news. You know, and if they throw you, if they throw you a carrot in the news and give you a fluff story, oh, isn't that sweet? You might as well be watching little kitties on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. It's like, here's a little morsel for you. I don't walk. I can't even tolerate hearing people talk about politics and war and whatever. Side note, John, yeah, talking about anxiety. When I do experience, and I'm not going to refer to it as anxiety, but I'm going to refer to it for myself. It's a very ill sensation, very ill sensation. When I go to the grocery store, when I go to the shops, when I have to run my errands, when I'm encountering masses of people or groups of people, um, I can sense and feel the common energy. I can feel that. And there are times when I'm able to go and do my thing, and oh, well, that was kind of nice. That there, it's not 100% of the time, but a majority of the time when I go to these places. What is this? Welcome. Hold on one second. Yes, DQ, man, DQ. Sorry. A thing popped up. I wasn't expecting that to pop up on the screen. I didn't think I could do live chat in here. Um, but anyway, going back, like going to the grocery store, going to the shop, going to Walmart, going to Home Depot, being out on the street, walking around in Portsmouth, walking around, in Market Square, um, picking up on that energy, the people that are around me. What are they thinking and feeling, and what are they projecting? And did they have a bad day at work? Are they having a fight with their wife? Is their kid in the treatment center? Like, and feeling all that energy being projected out as they're processing in their own minds, but unaware that some other people can feel that, empathy. Um, and what I've looked into recently too was the difference between empathy and toxic empathy. And I was definitely, if I was going to describe myself, I was a toxic empath. I wouldn't even be able to tell. There was a long period, the majority of my life, where I would pick up on other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions, not in a hokey. Well, what's the word I'm looking for? Not in a telepathic way. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions. I would sense it in my own body. I would be experiencing the negative emotions and feelings and sensations of other people, and I would allow it to latch on to me. And I would perceive those thoughts, feelings, and emotions as my own, but never being able to give it, um, like, where the heck did that come from? It didn't come from you, Scott. It belonged to somebody else, and you it glued right onto you because you weren't protecting yourself. But anyway, I feel like I've been rambling for a while. Long story short, unexpected grace. Viewing and seeing things. Viewing and seeing things. Hi, Monica. Um, Viewing and seeing things in my life now, not from a fear based mentality, just as an observer, as a witness. And when I choose to interact, and it kind of just happens, it flows. It's like I'm not even aware of it. There's a certain energy that comes through me that is my own, but isn't my own, if that makes any sense. Spirit, intuition, and having that good fortune, at least now or in more recent days, to walk through the world, being in the world but being no part of it, um, seeing it, witnessing it, but not letting it have that negative, fearful impact on my life. It is achievable. and I had a hard time recognizing it in myself. And if I can, by sharing my story about what it feels like, what I experienced, if that can help someone ease through their challenge or their confusion about what the heck is going on, they're experiencing some level of wake up, and they're seeing things as they are, not as they've been projected. If I can do that, even just for one person, um, if I can do that even just for one person, um, it'd be worth it. But yeah, awesome that you guys have stopped in. Monica, I think I only saw Monica and DQ's. Dude, are you in Somersworth? Because I'm in Kittery. I'm right down by the outlet malls, off of off of Route One in Kittery. Um, for some reason, I think you mentioned something about Somersworth, perhaps. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off. What a day! What a day! Too cold to go outside for me anyway. But cool, man. Cool. Hey, if you got it, I can't put my email address in there. If you got a pen, um, I'll write it down. Hold on. I don't want to put my phone number on here, per se, not on this, but I'll throw up my email. That ain't working. Oh man. Here we go. There we go. All right. Oh boy. Can you see that? There we go. Scott Zatella 1966 at Gmail. Yep. Oh, thank you, Monica. Thank you. I you Monica, you made a reference to Miss Pat Spiritualite. You left a link in your I think your last video, and I checked her out, and I've been kind of binge watching her stuff, and she's on fire, man. Very charismatic, um, very charismatic, and I enjoy like the energy that she has. Much the same as you, I enjoy your energy. Um, Damn. Anyway, and DQ, man, I saw the you had an extended share, I think, of your daughter's. I think it was your daughter. You have a daughter who did um, the flower. Oh God, what is the name of that thing? What is that? What is the name of that? I watched it anyway this morning. I think I commented or did a like or something on there. Very cool, man. Marshwood, they got an amazing drama program there. Um, as a matter of fact, my niece, she lives in Kennebunk, and she went to Kennebunk High School, and they have a huge Little Shop of Horrors. Thank you. Um, um, Kennebunk has a big drama department, but when my sister and my niece and nephew were settling in this area, that's all she was concerned with. Like, which high school around here has the best drama department? And she wanted to live down here, um, near Marshwood, because she had heard about the drama department. And she's I've seen a few of hers. The last one I remember seeing at Kennebunk High School, she graduated. Um, but the last one I remember, they did The Little Mermaid, and I can't remember what character she played. Her friend Ben was the crab, Sebastian the crab, and he nailed it. Anyway, great to see you guys here. I'm gonna sign off. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my day, but thank you for showing up. And yeah, she does. Yeah, she does, Monica. Uh, big time, big time. Um, Anyway, I'm going to sign off. I love you guys. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for being part of my day. Later.